If you grew up in an Italian-American family, you've definitely heard this word, Paisan. But do you know what it actually means? Do you know the history of the word? Do you know why it's still used today? The story behind Paisan is representative of the Italian-American story in a lot of ways. And I'll tell you why. The original word behind Paisan is paesano in Italian. It comes from the Italian word or reference to paese, which means town or homeland or country. In Italy, even into the modern day, if someone is from the same village as you automatically have this special bond. Especially in the past where your paese was everything. It was your lifeline, it was your friends, it was your family, it was your identity, it was your people. During the heavy wave of immigration, oftentimes you were Sicilian first, not Italian, or Calabrese, or Neapolitan, or Genovese. Italy is a new country. It only unified in 1861, and a lot of people in the late 1800s and early 1900s who were emigrating from the country didn't feel Italian at all. They felt like Italy was a country that had failed them and they were more tied to their region or even their town or province. They oftentimes arrived in America divided by region, by regional language, by traditions, by way of life, and they oftentimes settled in neighborhoods around their paesani, or people from their province or their town. In the Italian neighborhoods and the tenements of New York City and Chicago and Philadelphia, you needed your people to survive in this new land where you didn't know the language and the way of life. Your paesan was your reference, your survival, and your network. So the word obviously was paesano, but it got cut down to paisan. Why is that? The O was dropped because in many Southern Italian regional languages and dialects, the last vowel is oftentimes not pronounced, especially heavily in the Neapolitan language. So it went from paesano to paisan. In Italy specifically, this was usually just what you would call someone from the exact same village as you, which was the same case when the immigrants first arrived in the United States. But then this began to change. As a generation or two went by, neighborhoods weren't strictly regional or from a specific province anymore. Paisan became a term just to represent someone of Italian descent. So, for example, a Sicilian and a Neapolitan in America who had no connection in Italy and would never call each other's paesans there or paesani there, in America, they started to. So this word almost connected Italian Americans before anyone even really realized it. So as the generations have passed, this word has kind of kept the same term, but it's expanded even more, and here's why. For example, paisan is a word that I use super often. I don't exclusively use it for my friends or connections or acquaintances of Italian descent. However, I will admit I use it a little bit more than them than anyone else. The funny part though is that a lot of my friends from college use this term towards me a lot because I used it so much towards them, even if they weren't of an Italian background. So it's very funny to see the use going from specific town or village to possibly even entire region to entire heritage background, being Italian American specifically, to now branching out in my generation where the word is being used beyond just someone of Italian descent. It's not just a term used in the United States, it's also used in other languages. Other Latin languages have similar terms that are meant to connect people of the same background. But in this video, I'm focusing heavily, of course, on the Italian American experience and the importance of paisan to us. So it's cool to see how one word kind of shows the transition of the Italian American experience, leaving Italy with people from your village or nearby, moving into cities and neighborhoods where most people were from a similar area and spoke the same regional language or dialect. Those were your paisans. But then as these groups got Americanized and as generations passed and different regions began to communicate, do business, become friends, move into each other's neighborhoods, spread out, etc., paisan became used to represent anyone who had Italian American background. And then, as I said, nowadays, we'll see what the future is of the word. Maybe it will extend to, like myself, using the word paisan on almost anyone that's a friend to me. Although I do truly use it, of course, at a heavier rate with those that have my ethnic background. Is Paisan a word that you use? I'm very curious to know your thoughts and your family's use of this or community's use of this in the comments below. If you're interested to learn more about Italian heritage, culture, and linguistic traits in the world, then ORIUNDI is for you. Language is so important to who we are as people, and a lot of these words that were preserved in the Italian American communities hold really deep meaning. Don't forget to subscribe so you can get more videos just like this explaining the Italian experience in the world. Ciao for now, e alla prossima.